well get started, but look, thank you so much for joining us today. Please do feel free to pop questions along the way as we go to make sure everyone gets all their questions answered. We will cover timeline, then we'll go over the criteria for the different categories. Then Mish will cover some hot tips, and Dan will cover some more tips and some common mistakes. And then we will leave lots of time at the end for more questions and to answer anything along the way. So I would love to introduce today my co-hosts. We've got Mish Wright and Dr. Dan Jolly. So Mish has been teaching for over a decade. She started her second career as a group fitness instructor and personal trainer. She's the founder of a multi-award-winning fitness business, Mish Fit, which specializes in training. For over 12 years, Mish has written, presented, educated, and mentored many fitness professionals in business, women's health, and training older adults. Mish has also been a judge for around 6 years with the previously Fitness Australia Awards, now Oz Active, and will be a head judge this year as well. Mish was also the winner of the Educator of the Year award last year with the Fitness Australia Award. So thank you, Mish, for being here today. We've also then got Dr. Dan Jolly. So Dan is an accredited AusRep, lectures Cert 3 and Cert 4 in fitness in South Metropolitan TAFE in Perth. He has studied and worked in the fitness industry since 1997. He's got a bachelor degree in exercise science and a master's in exercise physiology. His doctorate is in education, psychology, and examining the knowledge and critical skills of the Australian fitness students and professionals. So Dan has also been a judge last year and will be one of our head judges on the Oz Active 2022 awards. So thank you so much for being here. And I know their expertise in both entering awards and also judging in previous years will be really beneficial for you all. So let's get started. So Luke, can we jump to the next slide? So to begin with, we want to talk through the timeline. So our awards, the nominations and submissions opened on the 6th of June. They will be open for 6 weeks. So today's our webinar. We're closing our call out for judges on the 24th of June. That will then give us 3 weeks to train them up and allocate them to their categories. I will go over who is eligible to be a judge shortly, and then also answer any questions at the end about judging process as well. So the submissions will close on the 15th of July at 5 p.m. There will not be any extensions. So please make sure that you get your full submissions in by the 15th of July, because the judges do have a very, very, very tight timeline to get the entries. Just so you know, last year we received over 1,000 entries. So we will need that full 3 weeks for the judges to go through those entries and shortlist the finalists and, of course, the state winners. So the judging for the People's Choice will commence on the 18th of July. So again, I'll talk about how the People's Choice categories actually work. They're new this year. We've never had them previously. So I'll come back to how they work, but it'll be from the 18th of July that you have 3 weeks to promote that you've been nominated for that category as much as possible and get people to vote using your social media. And again, I'll cover that a little bit more in coming slides. So the judging will conclude on the 5th of August. And then again, our first time, we're going to actually be kicking off a series of state events where we'll announce state finalists for 18 of the categories, and 10 categories will announce state winners, which is quite exciting. Luke, do you want to jump to the next slide? Thank you. So these are the dates up on the slide of our state events. So we'll be kicking off on the 16th of August with Adelaide, and our team will be travelling to Adelaide to hold a 2-hour cocktail party. Again, great opportunity to network after 2 years of lockdowns and limited travelling. We'll be really excited to hit the ground in Adelaide and announce those finalists and state winners. Then we head to Perth on the 17th, Sydney on the 18th, Canberra on the 19th, Hobart on the 23rd, 24th in Melbourne, and the 25th of August in Brisbane. So please, our tickets will go on sale next week for that. So please grab your tickets, and we'll love to see you around the country at those state events. And then next slide, please. And then we'll have the National Gala held in Sydney this year on the 21st of October, which will be held in the Ivy Ballroom. So again, tickets will go on sale around the same time as those finalist events. So make sure you grab your tickets when they go on sale for that national award event. So, of course, I just will cover a little bit why the AusActive Awards are so special this year. So we have grown immensely with the rebrand of AusActive. We brought in new modalities. So we now actually have categories for Pilates, yoga, aqua. So with the expansion of these new categories for the industry and new modalities, we had to expand our categories for our awards as well. So we're really excited to introduce a lot more categories and a lot more community categories as well. Can we have the next slide, please? All right, so I'll cover a little bit judging. So for the first time as well, we're doing a call out for judges. With the expansion of categories, we do need to expand our judging pool. So this year, we're opening it up to any level 3 professionals in any of those modalities mentioned. So any level 3 aqua, Pilates, yoga, and of course, exercise professionals. Please do consider applying to be a judge. Also, if you're an educator or an academic in the fitness and exercise industry, we would love you to also become a judge in this year's awards. Also, if you're in the active health, so if you're an allied health professional, you'll be eligible to judge, or if you're a business owner or senior management within the industry as well. So please do go on and apply to be a judge. Now, I had a few people in the chat asking how the judging works with also entering in. So part of the application for becoming a judge, you can actually tick which categories aren't a conflict of interest. So for example, if you were a level 3 exercise professional and you were applying to be personal trainer of the year, you wouldn't be eligible to be a judge for that category, but you could be a judge in a category for a business category that's not a conflict of interest, or perhaps one of the community categories. So you get to actually nominate 3 different categories that you're interested in judging that are no conflict of interest to you. And of course, if something pops up along the way, if you come across an entry that's an old friend or something like that, we have a process in place of being able to move you off that category as well. Great, Jono's applying to be a judge right now. Fantastic. We'll look out for that application, Jono. Yeah, so please do consider, if you're in any of those 4 criteria, we would love you to come on board and be a judge this year. But again, please still look at other categories that you can enter in. Also, it's not limited to entering into one category. So some of you might be eligible, some of you might be exercise professionals or personal trainers, but also qualified Pilates instructors. So you can actually then apply to enter into more than one category. Sorry, there's just some comments about the screen. Okay, so let's jump into the categories. So let's start with our special categories. So the way the Chairs Award and the Roll of Honour and Lifetime Members is a little bit different. So you can self-nominate, or you can nominate somebody in the industry. So for these particular awards, we're looking for someone that's had a full career, has done some really marvelous things for the industry, really stood out as a leader. So please do, I'm sure we all can think of a few people, so please do nominate in that category. And then it goes to the AusActive board, and Jane Blake, our chair, will then decide on those special categories. So they're not open for the judges and the judging panel to choose. It will be chosen by our board. So please do look at them, and please do nominate people that you know have made a big difference to the industry. So moving on to our community categories. So this year we've got 4 community categories. The other interesting thing about these are the only area that you do not have to be an AusActive member. So the mental health awareness program, we want people who are doing wonderful things in the physical activity space that also helps and contributes to the mental health or mental wellness of the Australian population. So please do, if you know anyone that has great programs out there, please do let them know about the awards. Again, they don't have to be AusActive members, and of course, if they are, that's even better. But these categories are actually just open to the people that are doing fantastic things in that physical activity space. Oh, Jill was given the Lifetime Member Award last year. Jill's on our webinar. Congratulations, Jill, and very well deserved as well. The most diverse or inclusive program. So this is a new category again. Absolutely wonderful. We know there are so many businesses out there and training bodies that are doing some marvelous things in these spaces. We really do want to celebrate this. And we also, the way these community categories are designed this year is you actually build out a case study. So there's step-to-step guides into actually building a beautiful case study that then we can actually share out in the community to let people know what you've been working on and the achievements that you've actually made in this area. The social value award. So again, people doing things in the community. So I know a few years back, we had the active farmers win this category. So people, again, doing things out there in the community, making a difference. Sustainability award. We want to celebrate people that are doing the right thing in the area of sustainability within their businesses, that they might have great green policies. It might even be a CEC provider that's offering courses in how to have a sustainable business. So it's also a new category, which we're quite excited about. Moving on, so business categories. So we've got the multi-service business. So if you're doing more than one service, so you might have Pilates, and then you also might have aqua in a pool in your services, and you also then might be doing personal training and classes. This is what we classify as a multi-service. So if you're offering more than one service, you're eligible to go into this category. Then your independent businesses. So any of those independent owners, operators out there, this is the category for you. Obviously, yoga businesses, Pilates businesses, and the certified business of the year as well. So you have to have completed the certified business program to be eligible to enter into that. Then we've got our quality assured business of the year. This is for our quality assured businesses. You actually don't have to do an application. This is actually judged by our independent third party auditor, whoever has the highest score on that quality assured quality accredited business of the year. So there's nothing you have to do for that category. Anyone that has that quality assurance can go into that category, and we will look at the scores with the auditor. Another new category is the franchisee of the year. So if you own a franchise business out there, this would be the category for you. And then of course we've got the franchise group of the year, and also new category as CEC provider of the year. This can be for an RTO, short courses. So this is actually for a business. So CEC business or RTO business of the year. So education business. Thank you. Individuals, so we've got a lot of categories. So we've got the educator of the year, which we've had previously, and Mish was our winner of that category last year. Student of the year. So student of the year also will have state winners. So when we do those state events, we'll be announcing right across every state and territory a state winner, and then those state winners will go to nationals. We've got the accredited exercise professional of the year. One of the other big changes this year, we've moved away from male and female categories, and we've now made it the rising star, which what we're classifying as level ones. And then we've also then got the level 2 and 3 category, which is the exercise instructors, the personal trainers, and the group exercise leaders of the year. So we've got the, the rising stars in those 3 categories, as then the level 2s and 3s. We've also introduced a Pilates professional, yoga professional, and aqua professional of the year. Again, if some of you are if you've got your 2 credentials with AusActive, so if you've got your diploma in Pilates and you've also got your personal trainer, you can enter both. There's no limit and there's no cost to entering the awards. So please do consider entering in as many categories as you're eligible for. Any questions on them before I move on to People's Choice? No? Okay, fantastic. All right, so People's Choice, again, it's a new category that we've added in this year. So either someone can nominate you, or you can self-nominate as well. So the way this is going to work is for the next 3 weeks till the 18th, the nominations come in. It gets built onto the platform. Then our marketing team will provide anyone that's been nominated with a social media kit and an EDM kit. And then it's up to you. You have 3 weeks to promote to your community, promote in-house in your venues, to promote to all your clients to go online and vote for you. So it becomes a community voting process where the person who gets the most votes across social media and also through the EDM platform will become the winner for then state, and then all the state winners will come to national as well. So it's a lot of self-promoting in this, but we really do want to celebrate, and I know a lot of your clients out there will be happy to vote for you all as well. So please do go on and nominate your co-workers, or you can self-nominate for that too. Any questions about the People's Choice? Not at this stage. Excellent. So look, that brings me to the end of the categories. Luke, do you want to jump to the next slide for us, please? Excellent. So I'm now going to pass it over to Mish, and Mish can talk us through some of her top tips. Thank you.
Thanks, Billy. And if you do keep having questions about what I'm talking about or what Billy has talked about, just keep putting them into the chat box, because we'll get to those as well. But first of all, I just want to thank you for being here. And if you're not here in person but watching the recording, thank you. I can tell you that just by putting in this little bit of effort of listening to what Dan and I have to say will probably put you head and shoulders above other people. And part of that is when you apply for an award, whether it be for AusActive or any award, you very rarely get feedback. So you put a lot of effort in, or maybe don't put a lot of effort in, but either way, no one says, hey, this is the part that, you lost a lot of points in. So kind of you might be entering awards and not winning anything. And it has very little to do with you as a person or your professionalism or your skills, but just your award is letting you down. So I've been wanting to do this for a while to help support you write a really good award, because it is not just for AusActive. And I'm going to just quickly go, well, I'm not going to quickly, I'm going to go to point 2, write offline. So that means write everything in a Word document and date it and say what it's for, because what will happen is over the years, you'll go back to that document for a whole lot of awards, and you must look out for other awards in your community, and reuse the work that you do. Just like everything you do, any content you write, you really should be looking at repurposing. So the very first tip is very, very important. Give yourself enough time. And if I can give feedback from quite a few years of reading lots of awards, this is probably the one where I see people have fallen down. They've said, yeah, I want to apply for it. They've maybe left it to the last minute and kind of have a that'll do sort of attitude towards it. I don't know. That's what I get as a judge reading some of the applications. So you don't want to give that you don't want to give that vibe off. So give yourself enough time to look at each question, because any sort of writing, I mean, I write for a living, and very rarely does my first draft make it to what you read. It has to go through a number of iterations. So I really recommend that you take enough time. So you've listened to this, you've probably decided now what award you're going to go for. I want you to start now by jotting down, the different things that you're going to talk about. So definitely tell the truth. And I'm going to be more specific to this. So instead of saying lots of people love my program, which is something I read a lot of, how many people, or did you do a survey, or is there still time to do a survey? To have really concrete facts and figures to tell the story that you're going to be telling me or the other judges is really important. This, language of lots of, anytime you reread that in your application, I want you to put a red line underneath and say, okay, what does lots of, or a generic term like that, actually mean? How can I back that up? Now, a really great way to get these stories backed up and to help craft the story and to to give it credibility is to get other people involved. So this is your staff workers, co-workers, get them to read it. Do they have specific stories that they can, or examples that they can add to it? You know, again, it's about giving yourself enough time and knowing that your first iteration of your award is not, it should not be the last one. And it's better to overwrite and then craft it and pull it down so that you stay within the word limit. Now, Dan is going to talk to you a bit more about some editing, but I'm going to give you a really fabulous tip, and that is called the Hemingway app, HEMMINGWAY app. You can download it, it's free, you put it on your desktop. So this is how you use it. You write on a Word document and you cut and paste it in the Hemingway app, and it will tell you kind of where you need to edit your work. And a really key, what it does for you is it helps to craft your message into short sentences, short and powerful sentences. So it will pick up if you say, have really long sentences that waft, or have words like a lot, or, you know, that are not strong enough. So Hemingway app is a fantastic tool that I encourage you to use. Thank you, Billy. And that can also help you. So if you start off with you know, a much greater word count, put it through Hemingway app, then you can see, and then it'll help you craft it to that word limit. Tell a great story. What I feel like when I'm reading the applications is that people assume I know what happens in your facility. Now, you know, the fitness industry is just so diverse, even more so. I do my best to get around to lots of places, but I can't know what it's like where you are. So part of telling a great story is to paint the picture so that in my mind's eye, I can see you in your workspace doing those great things. Answer every question. Now, maybe this is right at the start. I sometimes feel like people put in and say, oh, that'll do. And maybe they get tired and don't realize how much work it is. And so as the questions get closer to the end, there'll be shorter answers. And you know, that alone, because it's a point system, will basically be, you know, will put you at a huge disadvantage. So it might be that in your first draft of creating and crafting your submission, that you don't know what the answer should be for one of the questions. That's okay. Just leave it. Come back to it, or go to your colleagues or your co-workers, or go to your members or your clients and say, hey, I'm applying for this award. It says, you know, XYZ. You know me. What would you say about me that I can write? You know, and use their quote. All of these are just really good ways to paint a picture for me to see very succinctly into your world and why you should receive this award. And finally, read your submission aloud. Write like no one's watching you, but make sure that you edit and it has flow, and over all of the questions you have painted the full picture. If there's any questions, I hope you found the Hemingway app. You download it. I recommend for your desktop. It's free. But otherwise, I'm going to hand it on to Dan. Is that all good?
Thank you very much, Mish. Some of my points are going to overlap a little bit with Mish's, so I might be a little bit brief, but I think everyone will appreciate that. And speaking of brief, my first point is staying on topic. So I'm sure everyone's been in a situation, maybe at school or university or any other sort of study, where you've had to sort of write about a topic and you're not sure you had enough, so you just wrote a lot. in the hope that, if you throw enough up against a wall, some of it's going to stick, some of it's going to be right, and just hope that the poor marker can sort of sift through it and find out sort of ways to sort of give you marks where they can. And that's certainly what we do when we're assessing work, but we don't like it. So I was doing that as a student myself a lot sometimes, particularly early on. But now these days, being on the other side of that, having to try and sift through a big wall of text and come up with something that's going to be relevant and something that's going to allow me to give a mark to that person where I can. So my advice would be, the person that you are writing for would much rather find out everything they need to know within half the word limit, if you can tell the story within half the word limit. So if it's clear and it covers the topic really well, you don't have to fill all that space just because it's there. And if we have to sift through, let's say dozens or hundreds of applications, we'd like to be able to do it pretty quickly. And if you can answer the question well and succinctly, then we're going to be really, really happy with that. Mish was talking about editing a little bit and writing more. So you can write 400 words for a 300 word answer. But then maybe once you edit it, it might end up being 150 words or something like that. So my advice would be really brutal with your editing. And if you can tell the story with a shorter sentence than a longer one, do that. If you need one adjective instead of three, do that. There's no need to throw in extra words to sound sort of, flowery or smarter or anything like that. If you can just tell a really nice, clear story. So stay on topic as much as you can, I think. The next 3 points here have, there's a little bit of overlap in some of them. So I'm going to maybe sort of jump around a little bit here. And I think Mish will have covered some of this as well. We're talking about examples. One of the ways you might express one of those examples is, very, very specifically with, maybe numbers, or really focused on outcomes if outcomes were appropriate. So just like we talk to our clients about goal setting, and sometimes we'll use process and outcome goals, we can do that with our submission as well. Okay, and we can talk about what outcomes we achieved, and we can be really specific and measurable, etc. And talk about how that met the needs of the client really, really clearly. So just like you want to do that with your client, I think you want to do that in your writing as well. Probably helps keep it more brief, because you can point to some numbers and some success rather than having to explain or justify those numbers. Sometimes they just speak for themselves. If you can, if you've got some evidence to back up your claims, then that would be great. That might be something that you can link to, for example, to show us what you've been able to achieve. It might be it might be a case study like Mish was talking about, where you give an example of something you were able to achieve with a client or in education or whatever category you're applying for. And you can use that case study as a way of sort of showcasing your skills and showcasing your achievement. So that'd be really helpful as well. Where possible, you may even have some supporting material to support that case study or to support what you're trying to say, which you may not want to include in your answer, but it may be a link to something we can look at. It may be a supporting document, and the judge may not need to look at that. They may give you a really great score without it, but if we're on the fence about something and we're not sure, and we can click onto something else and have a look and see something that really supports your application, then that's not a terrible idea either. But it just gives us the option of sort of not having to sift through it if we don't want to. Question there about a supporting document. So it might be a link to something on your website, for example. It might be a link to it doesn't have to be a written document. It could be a video, or it could be something like that that you've already got pre-existing. Like I said, it may not get looked at, but it's something that may help if the judge wants to have a look at that. There's a question there about the judging rules, and maybe I won't address that if I'm not 100% sure. Billy, you might want to jump on that one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, sure. And look, it won't be judged on what's written. So it might just be as evidence. So I get what you're saying there, Travis, how it's unfair then to link to another document that might be able to explain something in more detail. The judges wouldn't mark off that other document. It would just be evidence-based proving. So it could even be something like a testimonial. It could be like a one sentence testimonial from one of your clients as evidence that you've, had some results with that particular person. But the judging criteria wouldn't cover going to that other document that has more evidence, but it's good to have it there for them to have a look at, but it's still judged on the actual 100 words that's actually written there. Does that answer your question, Travis? Do a thumbs up or? Yeah, fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, great. I'll leave that one. The last thing I think, which is really important, which I'm going to spend a little bit of time on, is this reading and proofreading. Really spending some time on this, going into a fair bit of detail and looking at this several times, maybe. And the first thing is, if you've given yourself plenty of time, like Mish suggested earlier, then you can actually walk away from it for a week and let it sit there and then read it again. So if you don't want anyone to read your application yet because you're not sure if it's any good, if you write it and then just try and proofread it straight away, you're not going to see it. You're not going to see all the mistakes because you're just going to gloss over it. You'll see it if you go away for a day or two, come back, read it, you'll have a fresh set of eyes. When you look at it then, you'll see all the spelling mistakes that you didn't pick up, the words in the wrong place, you've used the wrong to or there or something like that. So, all those sorts of things you'll pick up the next time, or you'll start reading and realize that you're changing topics halfway through a sentence and it's a bit hard to follow. So you won't notice that straight away. So if you're doing your application in half an hour, just before the deadline, you're not giving yourself the best opportunity to overcome all those sorts of issues. So walk away from it for a couple of days, come back and have another look. Once you've done that a couple of times, if you think you want someone else to read it, well, someone else is going to read it anyway, so you might as well get one of your friends to read it first, or one of your colleagues, and so they can give you some honest feedback as well. And the feedback might be that, oh, gee, we're missing a bit of material here and it may not be super convincing, but let's have a crack and see how it goes anyway. Or they might be able to remind you about something you've forgotten. They might be able to show you where maybe you get off track, or where you're not staying on topic, or maybe even something where you could have a better example and they might be able to remind you about something really useful. So always get someone else's opinion. So get someone else to read anything before it goes out to the public, I think is always great advice. And when you're applying for one of these awards, I don't think it's any different. The last thing I would suggest when you're reading and proofreading is think about who you're writing for. So the intended audience is always really important. And one of the really common mistakes that we have to deal with a lot with the people I'm working with, for example, is we're writing for students and students don't know the same things that we do. Something that we think might be really obvious isn't obvious to a student until they've had a bit of experience and time. It's the same thing for the people who are reading your application. So they might be quite experienced, and all the judges are going to be, but my suggestion would be that they don't know the ins and outs of your operation the way you do. So you might gloss over something that seems really obvious and clear and you don't need to explain, but for us you might. Okay, so if we don't understand it or we can't follow it, then we're probably going to mark that down a little bit. So think about the person who's reading it, has never set foot in your studio, has never seen you work, has never talked to you in any way. So, how are you going to make sure that everything's really clear for that person to understand? That's it for me.
Great. I might jump in and answer Matthew's question. He says here, can someone enter in a category if they've previously won an award? So the answer to that is you can't win the same category 2 consecutive years in a row. So if there's been more than 12 months, you can go back in that category, but you can go into different categories. So say, for example, you won Student of the Year in 2021. You wouldn't be able to go for Student of the Year again this year, but you could go for Personal Trainer Rising Star of the Year. So you can go for different categories. And this year, because we've expanded a lot, especially in those business categories, you might have won Independent Business of the Year or Boutique Business of the Year previously. If it was last year, you wouldn't be able to go for that same category, but you might go for multi-service if you've got more than one service, or you might go for Franchisee of the Year if you're within a franchise group. So there could be another business category that you're eligible to go to, but you can, if it's been more than 12 months, you can then reapply for that category. Does that answer your question? Yes, great, thank you. Fantastic. So we might actually open it up for some more questions now. Does anyone else have some questions they'd like to pop in the chat? Any questions? Oh, great. Okay, so Travis has got a question here about the photos and videos. So yes, we do want you to upload some photos and videos, one for promotion if you are successful to be a finalist and then a state winner or national winner, but also he's asking because there is marking. So we do, obviously we want you to put up those photos and videos. For videos, you can get a little bit creative. You might do a short, sharp, 30 to 60 second, this is me, this is why I love the industry, this is why I should win the award. You could come up with something creative like that. You might have footage of you working with a client. You might have footage of your studio or your business, especially the community categories. Again, you might have promotional videos. No, the photos aren't rated on the look. Jono, thanks for checking. But yeah, no, so use them again to add some sort of context to your application, so that, obviously a nice headshot for the individual categories, but then you might have some great photos of you working with your clients as well. So just really use them to enhance the application. And as I said, you can get a little bit creative with that video option. You can either do a straight talking to camera, short, sharp video, or you might have footage of you actually out there working with clients or within a facility in your business too. Does that answer the question? Yes. You're getting some compliments in the chat there, Mish, too. Excellent. So any other questions? Is there any questions about the categories or what you're eligible for? I'll give everyone a little minute just to think, but I do also just want to address I see awards as not just winning. It's really about the process. So if anyone's in that space of a little bit overwhelmed of what am I going to write in the application, just take a step back and actually look at it like a celebration of what you've gone through the last 12 months. Especially some of our states have had it really hard. They've been in lockdown. They finally open up. Use it for something to really be proud of, to celebrate your business, to celebrate what you've done with your clients. Use it as a moment of reflection. So it's not about that end result. Of course, that end result would be marvelous if you have that trophy on the counter or you get your finalist badge that you can promote, but really take it as a moment to really celebrate what you've gone through, those challenges, the things that you've overcome, those successful stories of how you've actually made a huge difference out there with people's health, with their well-being, got them through the last 12 months to 2 years. It's a real time to celebrate. So anyone that enters an award is something to celebrate, and you're all winners just for even considering entering in the award, because it shows you're passionate about what you do, that you're in this for a really for the long haul, that you're really proud of what you do to make a difference for people out there. So please actually enjoy the writing submission. As Mish and Dan both said, please talk to your clients, ask them what they think about it. That's the thing to be really proud of. When you see you've made a difference in people's lives, talk to your colleagues, get them to have input, especially in those business categories. Get your staff to put input into it as well, because it's not just a celebration for the business owner, it's a celebration for the whole organization. So really, please do get everyone involved, enjoy the process, encourage your teammates to enter in categories as well.
Could I add to that, Billy?
Please do.
When I was applying years ago for my business awards, which I won, it was also really good audit as to we were able to reflect on what the business was missing, and then that fed into kind of the focus for the next year, because a lot of it was, it's hard work. There's a lot of different aspects to it. So, I knew that I would be applying again the next year, and that's why it's so good to keep your original submission, because you'll go back on that one that you did this year or the one you did last year and say, hey, I've done X, Y, Z as well. So, it's also can be used as a business audit for some of those award categories.
Yeah, really, really good point there, Mish. I've just actually seen in the chat as well, someone's asking about, it's Robin's asking about the Lifetime Member Award. So the Lifetime Member Award is someone that's really dedicated their career, that has been in the industry for many, many years, has given a lot to the industry, has given a lot to the organisation. Last year we had 2. So we had Jill, who I've seen on the call, and we also had Dom, absolutely incredible gentleman over in Perth. So he's been working in the fitness industry. He's 84, 85 this year. He's still doing classes. So he's still doing classes for people of the sort of senior age bracket, but he gets out there every day and is just absolutely incredible with what he does and the transformation he makes for that sort of particular elderly sector. So absolute legend. You should look into Dom. There's lots of articles out there about the incredible work he does over there in Perth. So again, at 84, still taking numerous classes a week. So someone like Dom, Jill, who's also been in the industry and given so much to our industry. So just someone, so if you're thinking of nominating yourself or nominating somebody else, just someone who's really, Barry here, lifetime awards for at least 20 years of membership and significantly contributing to the sector. Thanks, Barry. Nice to see you online. I'm sure you will be, Jill. Oh, sorry, Sonia. Okay, fantastic. Any other questions? Is there any other questions about the People's Choice Awards? I know that's a new process we've put in place.
I think you might have missed one from Sonia. Will we be notified when more information is required?
Oh, for the lifetime member, is that if that's what you're referring to? Absolutely. So the way the nominees for the that lifetime and the roll of honour are done slightly differently. So the nominations will come in, then all the nominations will go to the AusActive board, and then the board will say who's shortlisted. And you'll get notified if more information is required, and you'll be also notified then if you're shortlisted for the awards that will be announced on the 21st of October here in Sydney. So I've seen Jill's asking who nominates for the People's Choice Award. So there's 2 People's Choice. There's an individual category and a business category. You can nominate your own business and yourself if you wish, or otherwise we will be doing a lot of promotion about those categories to get people to nominate their favourite personal trainer or their favourite group instructor or their favourite business. So once all those nominations come in, there'll be a 3-week window where we will supply all the nominations for those 2 categories, social media kits, and also copy for newsletters, promotion. So we will give you all the assets that you need to start promoting that you've been nominated for that particular category. And then you've got 3 weeks to get as many people in your community across social media coming on and nominating you. So the way that works is they go in, they'll see all the photos of the however many people have been nominated, and then they go and put the love heart mark on the person that they're nominating for in that category. So the platform's really simple once people go on, but we will provide anyone that's been nominated in those 2 categories. On the 18th of July, you'll receive a whole kit on how to go about them promoting that you're nominated and getting your community to vote for you. Yes, the People's Choice Awards are for AusActive members only. So every individual People's Choice Award and Business Awards need to be current AusActive members to be able to nominate and enter into those categories. The only awards that you don't have to be an AusActive member are the community awards. Obviously, AusActive members can go in it as well, especially if you've got a great sustainability program within your facility, or if you're running some sort of fantastic diverse and inclusive program. Of course, we want you to enter as well, but the community categories don't necessarily have to be members, but every other category does have to have current membership. Any other questions? Excellent. Well, look, our customer service team is, what is the AusActive accreditation program? So we've got a few accreditation programs. So we've got an individual accreditation program, which we started rolling out a few months ago. So the accreditation program is free for all level 2 and level 3 exercise professionals. If you go into your dashboard, the button's there to start that accreditation program. It is a 3-month program, but if you get started straight away, you can actually fast track it to then have it completed in time to enter into that particular category. But you have to go into the individual accreditation program, you actually have to complete that accreditation. So you have to go through 7 modules, you have to do a mentorship part of it. But please do jump onto your dashboards, you'll see the button there and you can start looking into that accreditation program for the exercise professionals. Any other questions? Yes, we do want to say a big thank you. We've got lots of sponsors on board and there still are opportunities for more sponsors to come involved. So we've got Clean Life, Techno Gym, Active Exchange and Lifeline, our community partners. In our business category, we've got Guild Insurance, Hester and MyZone. In our individual categories, we've got Les Mills doing our group leader of the year. And of course, we've got Iron Edge doing our personal trainer. So we're very, very grateful for our partners to come on board and making this possible. But again, there are opportunities available. So do reach out if you're looking at different ways to partner on this awards program. So I hope that you're all excited about the state events. I know Barry will be at all of those events along with our team. We're very excited to get back on the road and get out and network. They will be nights to celebrate. So they won't be sitting there and listening to award after award. There'll be lots of networking, lots of catching up, and we will then celebrate the finalists and state winners from each location. And then we want to see everyone travel to Sydney on the 21st of October so we can really celebrate the industry as a whole, as well as all those amazing finalists on the 21st. So please do keep an eye on the website. Tickets will go on sale very soon for those state events. And do please reach out to our customer service team or myself if you've got any questions about the awards program or anything else to do with AusActive. Okay. I'll jump online with you, Jill, to talk about that after if you like. If there's no questions, well, we might do a big thank you to Mish and Dr. Jan Jolly. We really appreciate your time and everything you do for our awards program. Again, those who are considering entering to be a judge, you've still got 2 more weeks to get your applications in. We'd love to see a lot of you become our judging panel for 2022. And again, though, if you've got questions about what that actually takes, please do reach out to us and we're happy to answer questions about the judging too. Well, thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time and we'll see you all in those state events.